Domain flipping, or purchasing a domain name and reselling it at a higher price, is a potentially profitable side hustle you could do from anywhere with an internet connection. Some domain flippers have sold domain names for millions of dollars. Although the practice of domain flipping is somewhat controversial, some online entrepreneurs have made a living from buying and selling domain names. Let's look closer at domain flipping, including how to make money flipping domain names and any risks involved. What is domain flipping? Web domains are bought and sold on the open marketplace, so there's an opportunity to flip them for a profit as a domain investor, just as with real estate. Unlike flipping real estate, however, you don't need to fix up a domain name or website to sell it. All you need to do is purchase a domain name and then list it for sale online. Rather than sell right away, you might wait some time until there's more demand for the domain name. When the timing feels right, you could sell it directly to an interested buyer or use a domain flipping website. Domain flipping inherently involves some risk, so there's no guarantee a domain name you purchase will increase in value. Doing your research, however, will help you locate potentially profitable domains. Fun fact, according to GoDaddy, the most expensive domain name ever sold was cars.com, which was valued at $872 million. How does domain flipping work? If you're wondering how to make money flipping domains, rest assured that the process is fairly straightforward. To get started with your domain flipping business, you'll need to purchase a domain name, which you can do from a number of websites. Some places to buy domain names include, but are not limited to, GoDaddy, Bluehost, Domains.com, Namecheap, and Flippa. You can also buy a domain name that recently expired in an approach known as domain drop catching or domain sniping. Website owners usually have 30 to 90-day grace period to renew their domain name. If their payment lapses, you can often scoop up a domain for a good price. Some websites where you can monitor and purchase recently expired domains are Namejet, JustDrop.com, ExpiredDomains.net. When you're ready to sell your domain name, you have a few options. For one, you can keep your contact information public in the Whois database so a prospective buyer could reach out to you directly about purchasing the domain name. Whois is a widely used internet database that stores the names and contact information of domain owners. If you don't want your details available to the public, you can usually hide them by purchasing domain privacy from your domain host. You could also create a landing page at the domain page where you state the domain name is for sale and direct a user on the steps they need to take next. You could also list a domain name for sale on websites such as AfterNick, Dan.com, Cedo, and GoDaddy Auctions. You could also offer a domain name for a flat fee or have a domain name auction that allows a user to bid on it. These marketplaces can simplify the domain flipping process, but they'll charge a commission. GoDaddy, for instance, charges 20% on sales of domain names that go for up to $5,000. To complete the transaction, it's a good idea to use a service such as escrow.com. Escrow is the use of a third party to hold funds temporarily until a purchase has been fulfilled. Just as when selling real estate, putting the money in escrow can help protect both you and the buyer as you transfer ownership of the domain name. How much does domain flipping cost? The startup cost of domain flipping is minimal, as you can purchase a domain name for less than $10 a year. Some experienced flippers buy thousands of domain names, but you'll probably just want to start small in the beginning. As mentioned, marketplaces may charge a percentage of your sale when you list and sell your domain names through them. Outside of these costs and the cost of using your computer and internet connection, you really don't have to pay anything else to flip domain names, making this one of the best side hustles for anyone looking to keep their startup costs low. How much can you earn with domain flipping? Is a domain flipping business profitable? It certainly can be if you purchase a domain name for a low amount of money and sell it at a high cost. The amount that you can earn all depends on how much you can sell the domain for. As mentioned, some domains have sold for millions of dollars, such as toys.com and slots.com. These days, there could be significant competition for in-demand domains, which makes it harder to acquire the domains that could net you a massive profit. But even if you buy a domain name for $10 and sell it for $100, that's a $90 profit. If you can repeat that success 10 times, you've made $900 in profit. So, how much can you earn also depends on whether you're treating domain flipping as a side hustle or a full-time job. Tip: as with any side hustle, the money you make flipping domain names is taxable, though there's some complexity around whether the profits count as ordinary income or as capital gains. It may be useful to speak to a financial advisor. Either way, make sure you keep track of your income and expenses so you can report them on your taxes. Maximizing your earnings with domain flipping. Here are some tips for maximizing your earnings with domain flipping. 1. Evaluate the potential value of a domain. Consider factors such as length. A short domain name tends to be more valuable. Brandability. A brandable domain is one that businesses would want to buy and build a brand around. For example, you might also purchase a domain name that contains a city name and sell it to a local business. Search friendliness. This is also referred to as search engine optimization. Is the name something consumers are likely to type into a search engine? Google's Keyword Planner, Ahrefs, and other tools can help you determine whether you found a good domain name. Stick with popular domain extensions such as .com and .io. If you see a new extension gaining popularity, you might also try to get in early. For example, the GG extension has become more common among gamers. Check the domain link's backlink profile. If you purchase an expired domain, check to see if any other websites are linking to it. This link juice from other sites can build a website's domain authority, making it potentially more desirable to buyers. You can also find this information on tools like Moz and Ahrefs. Make sure that the domain name isn't backlisted. You can use a site such as Links That Rank to double-check that the name doesn't have any bad history with Google. Check out the historical sales price of similar domains. Tools such as NameBio can give you valuable insights and help you decide whether a domain name is worth buying. And then don't rush to sell. Some of your success with domain flipping comes down to timing, rather than selling right away. It might make sense to hold on to the domain for some time until you can sell it for a higher price. Common questions about domain flipping. Is domain flipping legit? Domain flipping is legit. Some people think that flipping domains is taking advantage of people who need website names for their blog or business, but the practice is completely legal. To keep things legit, make sure you report any income you make through flipping domains on your taxes. What are the risks of flipping domains? The risk of flipping domains is that you make a bad investment that doesn't pay off. There's no guarantee that a buyer will want to purchase your domain name for a higher price than you paid for it, or at all. By evaluating a domain's potential value before you buy it, as well as timing your sales appropriately, you could reduce your risks and increase your chances of making a profit. You could also reduce the risk of loss by not spending any more money than you're prepared to lose. As mentioned, you can buy a domain for less than $10 a year, so as a beginner you could start small and scale over time as you gain experience. Is domain reselling profitable? Domain reselling can be profitable, especially if you identify domain names that are not in demand currently but will increase in value in the future. You could achieve this by staying on top of growing trends or scooping up recently expired domains at auctions. If you're interested in getting started with flipping new domains, here are the steps you'll need to take. Number 1. You need to search for a domain name. The first step in domain investing is to find a domain that's available to purchase. There are lots of tools with domain search tools, including GoDaddy and Bluehost. Look for inexpensive domain names, perhaps that are related to a specific topic, product, or location. You can also head to an auction marketplace to browse domain names for sale and keep an eye out for recently expired domain names. Number 2, consider the value of a domain. Before purchasing a domain, evaluate it for its potential profitability. Shorter domain names tend to be more lucrative, though they can also be more expensive. Domain names with a common keyword can also be more profitable, as you might use a keyword research tool such as Ahrefs or Ubersuggest to see how many times per month people are searching for a certain keyword. If you can buy a domain name related to a new or emerging trend, you might also turn a profit. As you gain more experience flipping domains, you might become better able to identify valuable domain names. Number 3, purchase and register the domain. Your next step is to purchase and register the domain in your name. To complete your domain name registration, you'll usually provide some personal details and payment information. You can choose to reveal your information in the Whois database so interested potential buyers can contact you. You also have the option of hiding your contact information at the time of purchase. Step number 4, find a buyer. There are a few ways you can find a buyer for your new domain name. If you made your registry public, a buyer could contact you about purchasing a domain. You could also design a landing page at a URL that contains information on how to purchase the domain name. You could list the name for sale on a domain marketplace for a fee. Timing is important here, as you'll want to sell when the demand is high. Rushing into selling or waiting too long could cause you to miss out on profits. Number 5, sell the domain name for a profit. Once you've identified a buyer, you'll sell the domain name and transfer the registration to the new owner. To protect yourself, consider using an escrow service such as escrow.com. This service makes sure that the transaction is complete before you give away the domain. Although domain flipping could be a profitable online business, it might not be for everyone. You'll need to invest some time into learning what makes a valuable domain and scouring the internet for the absolute best domain opportunities. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we remain Business Brain USA.